Deion Sanders is exposing lies. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. I'm your host, Kevin Borba. Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsors over at Nissan with the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Stay with us for the Armada Team of the Week later in the episode. We're also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to like, subscribe, and follow so that way you don't miss out on a moment of the coverage. Let's talk about it. Please ignore my shirt blending into the background. I'm in a hotel room. My fiance has a conference in Tempe, so I'm in Arizona. Let's talk about it. Deion Sanders is exposing possible lies about him and Shedeur. So there's a rumor right now, word on the street, is that Deion Sanders was at this conference for who knows what. It was some sort of conference, right? And all of a sudden, the rumor on the street is Deion Sanders said, you know what? I hope that Shedeur goes to the New York Giants. And there's been a lot of iffy reporting on this. It's one of those things where there's no video of it. We just have a picture. There's the guy, I guess the guy cited is a New York Giants content creator. So obviously he would maybe have a little bit of an interest in it, if you will. But that being said, the belief is that Deion Sanders said he wants Shedeur Sanders in New York. And all of a sudden, there's a screenshot of an Instagram comment of Deion Sanders calling it a lie. And so I'm here to say, do we really know what happened or didn't? No, because there's not a video, right? So we can't – it's hard to go off a quote when there's no video and the source is – I mean, I don't want to say it's iffy, but it's like, okay, do we believe it? Do we not? I don't know. Like people are retracting what they're saying about it. So it's like, how do we know what Deion Sanders said? It's a rumor. That's for sure. That being said, there's no way of really knowing unless someone was secretly recording and they've just been withholding this video. So this is what Deion Sanders allegedly said. We are hoping for New York when asked where he wants Shedeur to get drafted. And then there's an Instagram comment that says, this is a lie, also a screenshot. So we're going screenshot for screenshot here. We're thankful for whatever God chooses for them, right? So I think there's and the elements that we should learn about this whole situation, right? Colorado, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh Sanders, Travis Hunter, right? Most popular group of people in college football this past season. And for people to think that all of a sudden not even a month, right? The draft is in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks almost, I think. For us to go all this time and Deion Sanders be like, you know what? I've been here before. I've been there, done that. I know who I want Shedeur to go to. I've said I'll threaten teams of not like, well, it'll be an Eli if he goes to certain teams, right? So everyone's been speculating like which teams does Shedeur not want to go to, which teams does Coach Prime not want him to go to. All of this to say, for Deion Sanders to randomly just name drop the team he wants to draft Shedeur about a month before the draft, I'm calling it unlikely. Now, if it happened, it happened. I wasn't there, can't attest to it. That being said, I feel like Deion Sanders saying that a month before the draft or a couple weeks before the draft, it's kind of like it's like getting your girlfriend, fiance, wife to admit where they want to eat, right? It's like we all know they have a preference, right? We all know they're craving Chipotle. We all know they're craving the taco truck or they're craving like Hummus Republic or whatever the restaurant is, like whatever your partner's restaurant choices, right? We all know they have a choice, but when it's time for us to ask, they never answer, right? So you're going to tell me that Deion Sanders is going to give away his master NFL draft plan right now, this very moment where we're still kind of touching and feeling in terms of like where or like what Shedeur Sanders' stock is. He's just going to all of a sudden be like, you know what? I want the Giants to do it, right? Because if that's the case, the Giants, who, mind you, let's pull up the NFL draft order. They have pick number 3. Basically, that's possibly pick too late, right? Because there's a lot of beliefs going on around right now. Mind you, the exact count for the NFL draft is 30 days. So it's literally a month from now. 30 days, 2 hours, 54 minutes, and counting. Tennessee Titans have the first pick, Cleveland Browns second, New York Giants third. For Deion Sanders to say, I hope it's New York, would be the dumbest thing ever, right? Because then you have the Browns, who I think a lot of people around football, Todd McShay has already said, like, I think the Browns would take him if he was there, right? If the Giants wanted him and they're like, hey, we'll trade up for you, and the Browns are like, you know what? We're not confident about this class. We'll take your pick. We'll sort of just draft Abdul Carter and get some draft capital. That would just make the price go through the roof, right? So then, in essence, if the Giants now have to trade up one spot, they're going to have to give the Browns their pick, and they're going to have to give them a ton of draft compensation, and most likely hurt the team that they're building around Shedeur. That's what we're doing now. We're gonna, and I promise you, Deion Sanders is way smarter than that. So I'm leaning more along the lines of like, hey, he probably didn't say that because one, that sort of gives away their whole thing of like which team do. There's like a mystery to it, and I think they enjoy that nobody knows. Two, the Giants are not in a position to get a quarterback right now. If the draft goes as many think it will, it's going to be Cam Ward to the Tennessee Titans. I almost said Nashville Titans, the Tennessee Titans, and it's going to be Shedeur Sanders to the Cleveland Browns, assuming he's okay with playing there and hasn't been saying behind the scenes, I don't want to go there. So all of a sudden, we're just going to mess up the team that they're trying to build around Shedeur. I doubt it, right? And if the Browns are high on Abdul Carter to the point where they don't want Shedeur, they may tell the Giants like, hey, we're going to take Shedeur if you want it. If you want to pick, come up for it. They're taking the ball out of the Giants' court, right? Using sort of the lies of draft season, because it is also lie season, right? When the NFL draft rolls around, it's also lie season, which means we're going to be telling people like, hey, like the guy that said Shedeur Sanders was arrogant and brash and they didn't like him. Maybe he wants Shedeur Sanders to play for his team. Do we ever think of that, right? The guys that are saying, you know what, I have a second round grade on Shedeur. They're probably trying to scare other teams. They're probably trying to. Have you seen Bo Callahan? I don't even know what that movie called, Draft Day, when they're like, oh my gosh, the Browns didn't take Bo Callahan. What's his problem? Like, we're not going to take him now. So this is lie season, and I think this is another example of them getting caught in the lies. Okay, unfortunate situation happened at Stanford, but it could be a situation that benefits Colorado. This episode of Locked on Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at Nissan. The Armada Team of the Week is brought to you by our friends at Nissan and the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Each week, our Locked on college basketball experts are picking one team that stands apart. From top-seeded stars to the unexpected upsets, these guys showcase the strength and sheer power needed to push their team forward. This week's Armada and clear-cut Team of the Week is the Arkansas Razorbacks. Despite losing their first 5 SEC games, Coach Cal and his Hogs fought their way through the most rugged conference in college basketball to not only make the NCAA tournament, but knock off back-to-back national champion and Hall of Fame coaches en route to the Sweet 16. They accomplished all of this without second leading scorer Boogie Flan for most of SEC play and without leading scorer and rebounder Adu Thiero, I believe is how you say it, so far in the NCAA tournament. Adu Thiero. Yeah, I said that right. I said that right. A little pronunciation at the bottom there. Adu Thiero. Okay. When it comes to the Nissan Armada, they say go forth and conquer. And that's exactly what the Arkansas Razorbacks have done here. It's clear our team of the week is out here ready to conquer the road ahead with confidence, just like you can in the all-new Nissan Armada or any of the Nissan outstanding vehicles. Take them in Nissan Armada, Rogue, or Pathfinder and go find your next big adventure at shopnissanusa.com. Welcome back to Locked on Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. We're at over 7,000 subscribers, and we're going to continue to grow because we got some really cool guests coming up. You guys won't want to miss it. Let's talk about it. If you guys didn't know, the Stanford head coach, Troy Taylor, was fired. And very weird, rough situation. If you guys didn't know, I was on the Stanford beat a couple years ago with Fan Nation, or SI's Fan Nation. Really awesome job. gave me like my first crack in the industry, and I've since moved on to cover other teams. And Stanford, I was there when Troy Taylor was hired. Right, he was actually one of my top candidates for the role, and all of a sudden this past week, a bombshell report drops that he's been bullying women, and he's been sort of a toxic guy behind the scenes in Palo Alto. And it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't see this coming. Like, he was so nice to me. And then I talked to a couple people who are on staff right now, and they're like, yeah, we didn't see this coming at all. Like, he was like, they said that they were going to ride with him. They didn't say they were going to fire him. So weird situation. So how does this benefit Colorado? Well, if you guys didn't know, whenever a coach is fired or leaves for a job, aka like Eddie George going to Bowling Green, or in this instance, Stanford firing their head coach, the transfer portal window opens, and there's a 30-day window for all those players to leave the program if they want to. They don't have to. It's a 30-day window, optional. You don't have to transfer if you don't want to. But there's a lot of talent on that roster. If you look at the record over the past couple of years, 6-18 doesn't show you that, but there is some talent. So I'm going to walk you guys through the 5 guys who, if they enter the portal, Colorado would be fools, absolute fools, to not go after. And omission, because if you guys didn't know, he's in the NFL draft. Alec Manor, he was the guy that like absolutely dismantled Colorado by himself 2 years ago now. He's in the NFL draft, so they can't get him. But there's some other talent. So let's dive in. Up first, Emmett Mosley. Now, Emmett Mosley was a highly ranked recruit. And then his ranking took a hit because he couldn't play. He was injured. One of those things where I think he tore his ACL his like senior year, around his senior year, so was unable to play. But he came in and was second on the team in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns as a true freshman, coming off a serious injury. So he had 48 catches for 525 yards, 6 touchdowns, all this with subpar quarterback play, right? Stanford's quarterbacks last year, and really since, I mean, Tanner McKee was all right, but for a while now, Stanford's quarterback play has been pretty bad. And so he did all this with subpar quarterback play, really good. He can return kicks, punts, do a little bit of everything. He's just one of those guys where he's fast, he's electric with the ball in his hands. And for a Colorado offense who you have Draylon Miller, you have Amarion Miller, Joseph Williams, I think there's a lot of potential there. But I think adding a little more experience wouldn't hurt. Now, here's the thing. His dad is if he were to transfer, this would be the hard part. His dad and mom went to Notre Dame. His brother is I think he's a 4 or 5-star recruit, just came into USC. So his brother's a senior in high school right now, or will be a senior in high school. He has connections elsewhere. Does that hurt? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, these are all hypotheticals. No one's entered the portal just yet. Second guy where I'm like, you know what, Colorado could really use him would be Sam Roush. Now, Sam Roush, tight end, he's a guy just huge. I mean, 6'5", 240. He's a guy that I think could really help block or help Colorado's blocking issues, because obviously there's been a lot of blocking issues, if you will. And it's just one of those things where if you are looking for a tight end who could block and make plays, he's listed as 6'5", 260, by the way. So he could block, he can make plays in the passing attack. Like, he's sure with the ball, kind of elusive after the catch. Sam Roush would be the guy, right? You have Zach Atkins. I think him and Sam Roush would form quite a dynamic tight end duo. And I would be interested. I'd be interested to see it. David Bailey, pass rusher, offensive or outside linebacker, sort of a guy who former blue chip recruit. I think he was the first recruit to ever enroll early at Stanford. He had a breakout year this past season. He had 7 sacks, and he is widely viewed as an NFL talent. And I think Colorado saw guys like BJ Green, Samuel Kunalola, Keaton Wade. They had success last year, right? I think David Bailey could plug right in, replace a guy like BJ Green. You can move him all over, and he'll make some plays for you. I think if he's in the portal, everyone in the country will come knocking for David Bailey, right? Everyone in the country will come knocking for him because everyone wants a pass rusher, and David Bailey is going to be a guy that can get to the quarterback and is an effective sort of defensive player. And then lastly, or not lastly, two more guys. Colin Wright, defensive back. He's a junior, 3 picks this past year. And I don't know if it'll show on the tape all the time, but he's probably the best corner in the ACC, or at least one of the best corners in the ACC. He comes to Colorado. I imagine he'd really, oh gosh, that secondary would be so good. It's already really good. I don't know if they'd need another corner, but he's just so good where it's like you would take him, right? If he said, hey, I want to come, they'd probably be like, come on down. We'll take you. And then lastly, we're going outside linebacker again. And we're going, I don't want to butcher his last name, so I'm just going to try my best here. Tavara Tafidi, or I don't know his first name, I mean. 41 total tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 pick, 2 forced fumbles out of Hawaii. And that guy, he hits hard. He's a hustler, ball of energy. I think all these guys could help Colorado improve. Now, none of them have entered the portal yet, but this would be my wish list, if you will, if I was Colorado. So I will keep you guys updated on any of this comes to fruition. Who knows? They may not even enter the portal, but I think it could be quite interesting. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Joel Klatt's concerns about Deion Sanders' spring game format. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made from skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're into plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trademaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trademaster program at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you don't miss out on a moment of our coverage. If you guys didn't know, Deion Sanders is trying to revolutionize college football. He's trying to make spring game an actual game against someone. Now, it wouldn't count for anything, but it'd be like, hey, we're going to play against Syracuse. This is sort of the team that's been linked to it because they came forward and said, hey, I want to play against you. So there's that. Realistically, I think the spring game has a chance of happening, and Fox sports analyst Joel Klatt said, he's a little hesitant about it. He said, here's what he said concerns him. Injuries would happen, quote, injuries would happen if you're going to bring other teams in, if you're going to practice against them. So you have to be okay with that, which a lot of coaches would not be. He continues saying, if you have a tough fall as a coach and you were, quote, on the hot seat for the next year, you got to open practice against another institution. All of a sudden, here comes another program into your practice facility. You look terrible. This ain't going to help you. And so those coaches won't want to do this. And then he also added, I love the idea. Do I think it's 100 hurdles to try to jump over before we get to something like this? Probably. So let's figure out a calendar. And then, hey, Deion, I'm in, man. This is a great idea. So, I mean, some of these concerns are what I talked about with Shehan Jayaraja of CBS Sports when he was on the show the other day. Teams are, going to be worried about injuries, which the counterpoint to that is injuries can happen at any time, right? Injuries can happen in your own spring game. Injuries can happen when you're doing a route running drill on air, right? We've seen guys tear their ACL while doing non-contact drills. We've seen guys hurt their ankles by being stepped on. We've seen guys break their legs by being rolled up on. All of these things happen in football scenarios. So injuries, it's like, okay, if we're going to play, we're going knowing we're taking that risk. And you do what you can to prevent that. Quarterbacks in the red jerseys, guys who shouldn't be taking hits will have the little caps on or the yellow jerseys, whatever it is, right? So it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, that can happen, but that can happen at any time. So injuries. Now, the next thing he said is really what I've been worried about, not for Colorado, but just the longevity of this idea is one, say you lose your spring game, right? Quote unquote lose. It's like, okay, am I going to lose confidence in the boosters? Are the fans going to stop donating to the NIL fund? Like that could be a concern for some programs. For Colorado, I doubt it, but for some programs, it could be an issue, right? So I could see where he's coming from. But at the end of the day, if you're a program in the Big 12, the ACC, the Mountain West, American, Conference USA, whatever, right? You name it. These programs are not the SEC or the Big 10. You need a way to make money. You need a way to generate eyesight or generate buzz around your program. And this is how you do it. Now, people that are worried about tampering in the transfer portal, again, it's going to happen either way, right? So figure out a way to schedule it after. I don't know how you combat that. I really don't. But figure out a way to schedule that after the portal closes or whatever. And you just have to know that there's going to be risk associated with this, but there's also risk associated with everything, right? There's going to be guys tampering regardless of if they see them play or not, right? There's tampering going on right now. I'll let you know. Like there's coaches who are hitting up dudes like, hey, how's spring ball going? Are you starting? You getting reps? No? Maybe you should come on down over here to Apple University or to Taco Tech, like whatever it is, like whatever the position is or the program is, like it's already happening. So they don't need an excuse. Like it's going to happen. So I like the idea. I think there's a few kinks to work out, but I think Joel Klatt's concerns are they're valid, but they shouldn't be make or break for an event like this. This could change college football. So I'd rather see that. So appreciate you guys for tuning in, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. And I will see you guys tomorrow.